Get out the back axle with it.
Drugs and alcohol. DOT regulations. Obviously, drivers with the CDL must follow DOT testing rules. Sure, now it's not working.
You know, every week you keep doing this to us. Now it's not working.
It was working just fine earlier. What is going on?
Better pause it, Ryan.
Alright, drugs are classified into 4 categories. Opiates cause morphine-like effect or a stupor state resembling sleep. Opium, morphine, hydromorphone, whatever that is, oxycodone, heroin. Stimulants, stimulates the nervous system, producing excitement and loss of fatigue, and amphetamines, ephedrine, cocaine, and caffeine. Nobody here uses caffeine every day, right? As we're all drinking coffee. Hallucinogens, capable of producing psychotic reactions, altering perception of visual or auditory stimuli. LSD, mescaline, marijuana, phencyclidine. Depressants, a sedative to control anxiety, induce sleep, control hypertension, and epilepsy. Alcohol, biggest one in there. Barbiturates, quaaludes, other, I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Pre-employment testing. Everyone applying for work at WM must take a drug test. They are tested for marijuana, cocaine, opiates, phencyclidine, and amphetamines. Obviously, all offers of employment are withdrawn if a candidate misses a test, refuses to take the test, or fails the drug test. Post-accident testing. Testing is required of each surviving driver who is performing a safety-sensitive function with respect to the vehicle after an accident that involves a commercial motor vehicle or operating on a public road in commerce. If there's a fatality, do we get drug tested?
I don't know.
Absolutely. If there's a fatality, you're going to get tested no matter, doesn't matter.
Whether you're dead or alive, they're gonna test you.
Bodily injury. If it requires medical treatment away from the scene, you guys can see it. If you get a citation, there's going to be a drug test. If there's injury, but you're not cited, there's no drug test. So, if you get a ticket and then there's a vehicle towed away, doesn't matter whose vehicle, we're going to get tested. If there's cars towed away but you do not receive a citation, there will be no drug test. Random drug and alcohol. 10% of total drivers must be tested for alcohol annually. 50% must be tested for controlled substances. It can be performed prior to driving, during your day, or immediately after driving. All drivers must have an equal chance of being selected. It is random, guys, even though it seems like sometimes it's not. Return to duty. Driver takes a return to duty test with a result of 0.02 alcohol concentration and or controlled substance test that's negative. DER notifies the manager or supervisor that you can return to work, and they notify Cigna to remove you from leave of absence. If you're coming back from a positive test, you're going to have follow-up testing. You guys can see it. Minimum of 6 tests in the first year. And the testing can go on for a maximum of 60 months, and the employer must ensure that that is carried out. Reasonable suspicion, drug and alcohol. So, you guys can see it. Driver must be tested for drugs and alcohol if the employer has reasonable suspicion of violation of the drug and or alcohol policy based on appearance, behavior, speech, or body odor.
You just smell one.
The observation must be completed by a trained supervisor or company official prior to or during or after work. And the testing must be completed within 2 hours, or there has to be a written reason why. The report due before test results are within 24 hours, and the driver cannot perform any safety-sensitive functions. In other words, the driver is not allowed to drive. DOT considers marijuana a Schedule I drug and will not verify a drug test as negative if it's in their system at the time of testing, even if it is prescribed by a physician. So, question. Marijuana is legal in a few states, right? Colorado, Washington,
Yeah. It's not legal.
Not for
federally.
commercials, drivers.
not for commercial, that's my question. Doesn't matter if it's legal, if you test positive for marijuana, it's a failed test even if it's legal in your residing state. Drug and alcohol-free workplace policy sets standards for management action for use or abuse of alcohol or drugs in the workplace or under workplace authority. Sets standards for action taken as a result of a positive drug or alcohol test and employee behavior that interferes with the testing process.
I got a question.
Yes?
So when marijuana becomes federally legal, then what happens?
Alcohol is legal, you still can't have alcohol in your system.
Well, how are they gonna test you?
That, I don't have the answer,
There
but
must be, I
what he
bet you they're
says
gonna have
makes
some kind
sense.
of a test.
Well, they do have a test now. I got a buddy who's a cop, and they have a way of testing you whether you're on medication or alcohol, so there is something out there to test you. You can still be under the influence, whether it's drugs or alcohol, and there is a way to test it.
Until there's a way to test for if it's recent, if you're currently under the influence of it,
Yep.
it'll still be legal for commercial guys.
Risk of substance abuse increases the risk of workplace injuries and incidents, affects the health and well-being of the user, lowers productivity and quality of the employee's work, it affects the community and family system, domestic violence, abuse, legal crime. The goal of the policy is to maintain a workplace free of drugs and alcohol. Again, WM has a zero tolerance to substance abuse. No person may be involved with drugs in any way while on WM's property. Controlled substance, alcohol, legal drugs used illegally, and over-the-counter drugs not being used as directed. Policy excludes drugs that are prescribed by a doctor, being used as directed by a doctor, and do not influence the ability to perform your job. However, a doctor must fill out a release form for any drug that's prescribed that will affect your performance, and legal drugs used illegally are against the policy. WM uses a substance abuse program that includes education, training, and drug and alcohol testing. Any questions?
And what happened to the guy that used to drug test us when we get Tootsie Rolls?
No longer used at this site anyway. I don't know if he is at others or not. So 1, drivers with a CDL must follow DOT testing rules. True. 2, the Controlled Substances Act places the control of narcotics, stimulant, hallucinogenic, and depressant drugs under DEA control by placing them into schedules. True. LSD and marijuana are considered Schedule III substances.
False.
What is it?
1.
1. Testing is required by each surviving driver who is performing a safety-sensitive function after an accident.
True.
Reasonable suspicion substance abuse testing is based on the number of accidents the drivers had in the past year.
False.
False. If marijuana is in your system, no matter what state you live in, you will fail the DOT test for controlled substances.
True.
WM has zero tolerance approach to alcohol and substance abuse. The goal of drug and alcohol-free workplace policy is to maintain a workplace free from drugs and alcohol. True. So what's the takeaway today, guys?
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, and why not? Why do we not want to be coming in under the influence?
Good job. I can heard some
Job. There you go. All right, guys, let's have a safe day.